While studying in China and researching Chinese history and geography, I met Chinese researchers who invited me and my father to join a scientific expedition along the Great Tea Road. The Great Tea Road was a trade road between Asia and Europe in the 18th and 19th centuries, along which caravans transported tea. It began in China, passed through present-day Mongolia and through Russia to Europe, including land and water roads that connected over 150 cities. This path facilitated the movement of people and information, goods and ideas, ethnic and religious migrations, caravan trade, and the spread of advanced technologies and philosophical concepts over millennia. Our journey began in the town of Yalandun, the starting point of the tea road. Here, tea was grown, harvested, and processed.
哎，通过它的小河道，这叫潘河，运到这儿来了以后，这儿原来底下黄盖湖没有做闸的时候，就已经通武汉，通大武汉。
We walked along the ancient streets from the Ming and Qin dynasties, lined with wooden shops and stalls. The ancient tea street stretched along the river, where a stone pier for loading tea onto ship has been preserved. A stone bridge used for transporting tea also remained intact. In a local tea house, we tasted authentic Yalandun tea and enjoyed its amazing flavor and aroma. At the table, our teacher Wang explained how tea used to be transported here on one-wheeled carts. They balanced the load by placing sacks of equal weight on each side. The handles of the carts were laid on the shoulders, and people moved in a zigzag fashion. Here, the so-called single track on which these one-wheeled carts moved has been preserved.
我们在蒙古、俄罗斯的时候，当地的如果他们需要喝茶，他摸那个砖块，上面有3这个川字，它就代表着好茶的意思。那么这个川茶就产自于我们湖北的杨楼洞。
Our next destination required us to bundle up warmly, layering multiple sweaters and outwear, as we transitioned from the mild warmth of the south to the brisk north, arriving at the checkpoint Yanmenguan on the Great Wall of China. The wall stretched majestically to this segment, preserved in remarkable conditions due to the relevant passage of tea caravans. This site once bustled with activity, serving as a custom post where caravans en route to Mongolia paid their duties. The very bricks still bear the deep grooves etched by countless tea carts. It's easy to be transported back to these tumultuous times. Imagine the fortress alive with the clicking of coins, the whispers of smuggles, and the adventurous tales of bold travels echoing through the walls. It's fascinating to know how the Chinese preserved history. We arrived at a place where the road itself is of utmost importance, with everything else being secondary. Only small remnants of the forest will remain. Next to this road, a town is being constructed along the Great Tea Road. Based on ancient drawings and chronicles, these streets are being recreated to reflect the atmosphere of bygone centuries. This careful attention to details brings the past vividly to life, allowing visitors to step back in the time and experience the rich heritage of this area. Our next stop was the town of Idu, where an ancient tea road in the forest has been preserved. It's almost unimaginable to envision mules laden with heavy bags of tea making their way up this ancient stone path. The rich terrain, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, echoes with the whispers of a bygone era. Each stone, each step, tells a story of the timeless journey of tea. In China, the tea road spanned 8 provinces, where many cultural landmarks are preserved and maintained by local authorities. Tea has become a significant attraction in these areas. That's why our delegation was greeted by the mayor and we were given a private tour of the factory along with a group of journalists and a documentary film crew. We were shown a tea production factory where they activated the tea processing machine. They demonstrated the difference between high-quality tea and tea husk, explaining that cheap black tea is made by mixing tea husk with good tea, and tea bags are entirely made of tea husk. We became participants in a documentary film where we interviewed and shared our impressions. It was then that I convinced the idea of making a documentary film along the road of the Great Hero. Having been directly on the road, I felt the spirit and atmosphere of the place and possessed historical and geographical knowledge of those areas. When I started my new life in Canada, I decided to make my dream a reality and enrolled in the Toronto Film School.